So I just got in from a little fishing trip, and what I wanted to do was show you how to fillet a fish. I know there's tons of people that fish in the world, and there's always new people coming into the sport. So there's people that need to learn. So here's a video showing how I fillet fish, and there's lots of ways of doing it, but this is the way I do it. All right, for filleting a fish here, what we want is a nice clean workspace, and we'll need a few things. I always start with a knife sharpener to sharpen my knife. I use this Rapala brand knife for filleting. I like something that's got a nice long blade and it has a little flex in it. And we always start by sharpening that. I have a bowl so that I can put my fillets in them and wash them after I'm done cleaning them. I'll put that to the side. And then I have a freezer bag. This, I only have two fish to clean right now for this video, so I'm just going to put them in a freezer bag, and I'll probably eat them within the next day or two, so I'm not going to use a big bag or a thicker bag. So we'll get started here and show you how to fillet a fish. Like I said, first thing we do, sharpen our knife. This knife sharpener, real simple, it's just a couple dollars. It has a ceramic side and a carbide side, so I start with a couple of swipes on the carbide side to take out any big nicks in it, and it's very smooth, so there's not much work needed on this knife because I do it all the time. And a couple of swipes here. Put moderate pressure on your blade while you're doing this, and go slow so you don't miss the slot, slice your finger. Okay, I'm going to grab a fish and we'll be right back. So this here is a bluegill, and what we do is right behind the gill plate here, we take our knife and slide it up. And we want to go up behind the scales, okay? And then what I do is I kind of start at that top of that cut here, and I put the knife in sideways, and I start cutting down the side of the spine, but not into the rib cage. You see my knife is only in maybe, I don't know, an inch right there. And as soon as I get past the area where I know the rib cage is, usually where the vent is, here where the bottom of the fish, a little bit past there on its fin, then I can go all the way through, and I kind of tip my knife this way towards the spine, in the center of the body. And there. So now I don't take this fillet off yet because I want to flip the fish. And again, I want to do this same process on the other side. And it's a lot easier to do that if you keep that first side attached. Okay? And again, it's the same method on the other side. You want to get close to the fin, along the spine, but not into the rib cage. And then once you get 3/4 of the way back here, we can go all the way through. Tip our knife down, and you'll feel a little bit of the bone there when you're moving your knife along. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to work this fillet. You can see that bone that I went along is right here. You can see all these bones in here. You went right along and you took the meat right off of them. So now I want to do is go and I want to slowly work, get my thumb up in there, kind of put some pressure on it, and slowly work around the rib cage. And you can hear the tip of the knife clicking on the ribs. That way you know you're getting really, really close there and you're not wasting any meat here. The goal is to get as much meat off these fish as possible and not waste the resource. Some people do this with an electric knife. There's a lot of ways to fillet fish. This is just the way I learned how to do it and with the tools that I have. So showing you. So here's the first fillet. Second fillet, we'll start at the same thing. We'll start working right down to the top of the rib cage, and you'll start feeling those ribs as you put your knife in there. You just want to take some time, and then we slowly work this fillet off of these ribs. You can see the cage is kind of sticking out a little bit. We got to work our way around them. Okay, so we have two fillets now. We have a fish with essentially no meat on it. I mean, you can see through this. You can see the yellow on the cutting board, and there's just nothing left here. So this is a good job. This is what you want to have. I put these in my garden because they make fantastic fertilizer right under tomato plants. So all of our fish go under our tomato plants. So now, when we come here, we want to take this skin and scales off of this fillet here. So what we do is I usually keep actually a little bit of fingernails just for working on stuff like this. So I'll take my fingernails and I'll kind of dive in a little bit to this last little bit of meat here. And you tip your knife down again towards the skin and just slowly push down and slide back and forth with your knife. And this is where it's nice to have a longer knife. And you just let the knife ride the face of the skin all the way down, okay? And there it is. There's the first fillet. There's nothing, no bones, nothing. You can feel on there, if there are any bones, the first couple times you do this, there might be bones just while you're learning. But this one doesn't have any bones. So what I do is then I throw it in my little pot that I have there, and I grab another fillet. And I do the same thing. And again, no meat wasted. Here's the skin, and you have a perfect fillet. No bones. So the next thing I do is I run a little water in my pot. I have my fish in a pot. I run some water in there, and I will kind of run my hands around on the fillets a bunch, and you'll feel the fillet get more firm. You want to use cold water when you're doing this, and you'll feel the kind of a sliminess go away, and it just becomes to feel like a regular piece of, almost like a steak texture, right? It doesn't have any sliminess to it at all. And then what we do is we put them in the bag. So there's still one more step here. What I do is I fill this bag up, and I'll do it over at my faucet. Doesn't take but a second here. And you could do this over the sink, but what I do is I take this bag and I zip it most of the way, and then I tip it down here so that the air comes up, okay? And it comes up to the very corner here, and then I slowly squeeze almost all the water out of the bag. Like I said, you could do this in the sink as well. And the reason for this is that air touching your meat is what causes the freezer burn. So if just water is touching the fillets, you will not have any freezer burn, and this will have a much longer life in the freezer. So this particular bag, this is just one fish for purposes here. I'm going to do a couple more on my own now, but this bag here is ready for the freezer. So that's how you fillet a fish, and I hope this helps somebody that's just first starting out, and good luck. Thank you. If you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.